Chosen one, before we begin, hear me clearly. This message is not for everyone. Only those who walk the divine path, only those whose spirit has been marked by God, should remain here. If you are not a true follower of the Most High, your heart will not recognize what is being spoken. But if you are chosen, if your soul has felt the pull of God in this season, then you will know instantly that this message has reached you at the perfect, appointed time. Nothing here is by accident. You were guided to this moment because heaven has something urgent to reveal to you. I want you to stay with me until the end, because what I am about to speak may shift the direction of your entire journey. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. But before it arrives, God needs you to understand the silent battle you have been fighting. You have been questioning it, feeling it, carrying it alone. Now God is ready to give you clarity. Before we go deeper, Chosen One, comment the number 777 to confirm that your spirit is open and ready to receive this word. And if you have not already, subscribe to Divine Calling, tap the bell icon, and share this message with another chosen soul who needs this revelation. Settle your heart. Listen closely. Heaven is speaking directly to you, and you are here because God Himself wanted you to hear this today. The nature of the silent battle. Chosen One, let us unfold what this silent battle truly is, because many of you have been living through it without understanding its deeper purpose. A silent battle is not fought with visible enemies or loud confrontations. It is an internal warfare that moves quietly within your soul. It is the weight you carry when no one is watching, the questions that echo through your spirit in the middle of the night, the unseen pressure that tries to crush you when you are already exhausted. This battle is spiritual, emotional, mental, and deeply personal. And because it is hidden, you often feel like you are the only one walking through it. Spiritually, a silent battle is when God allows the forces around you to shift. You may feel a sudden heaviness that seems to appear out of nowhere. You may experience moments where your emotions rise and fall without explanation. You may notice a strange isolation, not caused by others turning away, but by God pulling you into a sacred inner space. When the chosen ones enter this phase, it is because heaven is preparing them for a level that cannot be accessed through comfort or crowds. This silence is not emptiness. It is correction, transformation, revelation, and preparation. You may have wondered why certain people were removed from you suddenly, why relationships changed without warning, why conversations grew fewer, and the room around you felt smaller. You may have felt a quiet distance forming between you and the world you were once familiar with. That is part of the silent battle. When God is ready to elevate a chosen one, He narrows their circle and quiets the noise. He removes distractions, even when those distractions are people you once relied on. He reduces your environment so He can expand your spirit. Isolation becomes a divine womb, holding you while God reshapes your identity. The silent battle also shows up as an internal tug-of-war. Some days you wake up with faith, and other days you wake up feeling empty. One moment your heart is strong, and the next moment it feels fragile. You might be questioning your purpose, your path, your ability, or your future. You might feel like you are being stretched beyond what you can handle. These inner shifts are not signs of weakness, they are signs of growth. You are being pulled away from old versions of yourself that can no longer follow you into the next chapter. You may notice that in this silent season, attacks do not come loudly, they come subtly. They come through overthinking, through sudden insecurity, through unexpected spiritual fatigue. You may feel unseen forces pushing against your progress. When chosen ones get close to breakthrough, the enemy tries to suffocate them with doubt and confusion. The enemy knows he cannot stop what God has ordained, but he tries to discourage you enough so that you stop yourself. That is why this battle feels so inward. It is not a fight for your life. It is a fight for your mind, your peace, your faith, and your destiny. Now let me tell you why God allows His chosen ones to walk through these battles quietly. The first reason is refinement. God is shaping you away from human eyes because not everyone is meant to witness your transformation. There are parts of your evolution that must remain hidden, so no one can interfere, misunderstand, or sabotage what God is doing. When God is developing a chosen one, He protects the process by keeping it private. Just like a seed grows underground, your spirit is growing in a place where others cannot see the roots forming. The second reason is strengthening. A silent battle forces you to develop spiritual muscles that cannot be built in easy seasons. When no one comes to rescue you, you learn how to call on God directly. When no one understands what you are going through, you learn how to trust your divine intuition. When no one hears your silent cries, God hears them more clearly. Through this isolation, He teaches you how to stand, how to discern, how to resist, and how to rise. He makes you stronger than you ever imagined by letting you face the storm with Him alone. The third reason is elevation. A breakthrough is not simply a blessing, it is a shift into a higher dimension of purpose. But elevation requires preparation, discipline, and spiritual clarity. The silent battle strips away the unnecessary. It clears the noise. It separates you from anything that cannot come with you. You may not understand it now, but everything you lost in this silent season was removed to make room for what God is sending. Let me give you examples so you understand that you are not alone in this experience. Maybe you have been waking up feeling a heaviness you cannot put into words. No one around you senses it, yet it sits on your chest every morning. That is part of the silent battle. Maybe you stopped enjoying things you once loved, not because they changed, but because your spirit outgrew them. That is the silent battle. Perhaps friends you trusted suddenly grew distant. Conversations that once flowed now feel forced. People you thought were aligned with you quietly drifted away. That too is the silent battle. These shifts are signs that God is removing old assignments and forming new alignments. You may even notice that the more you try to explain what you feel, the less people understand. It is because God does not want just anyone speaking into your transformation. He wants you to receive revelation from Him, not validation from others. So He allows separation, silence, and solitude to refine your hearing. Chosen one, understand this. The silent battle is not designed to break you. It is designed to awaken you. Every tear, every moment of confusion, every quiet night where you felt alone was part of God's training. He was teaching you how to listen to Him more clearly, how to trust Him more deeply, and how to walk in your purpose more boldly. Your breakthrough is not delayed. It is being prepared. And this silent battle is the final shaping before the shift arrives. Why God went silent during your struggle. Chosen one, now we must speak about something that has confused and troubled many of God's children. The silence of God during your deepest struggles. You have felt it. You have cried out and heard nothing. You have asked for direction and received no immediate answer. You have begged for relief, yet the pain continued. This silence was not punishment, it was purpose. Divine silence carries a spiritual weight that the chosen ones must learn to interpret because God speaks loudly through His quietness. When God goes silent, it is never a sign that He has abandoned you. His silence is not rejection, nor is it distance. It is refinement. It is the sacred moment when heaven withdraws its visible signs so your spirit can grow stronger in the invisible realm. God must sometimes hide His voice so you can discover your own. He must step back just enough so you learn to stand. Many of you have mistaken His silence as absence, but chosen one, hear me. Whenever God appears silent, He is actually working more deeply than you can see. Divine silence is a furnace where the chosen are purified. When God stops answering the way He used to, it is because you have entered a new spiritual stage. The level you are stepping into requires a stronger mind, a clearer heart, and a deeper faith. If God were to speak too soon, you would depend on signs rather than wisdom. If He were to reveal everything instantly, you would never develop discernment. So He stays silent, not to hurt you but to mature you. This silence forces a chosen one to turn inward. When you can no longer hear God externally, you begin searching for Him within your intuition, your spirit, your inner knowing. And this is exactly where He has placed His voice. God's silence trains you to stop seeking answers from the outside world and start trusting the spiritual compass He placed inside you. When the noise around you fades, the voice within you becomes clearer. That is why some of your greatest revelations have come after seasons of confusion, isolation, or emotional exhaustion. His silence sharpened your hearing. You may remember moments where you cried out, "God, where are you?" And the heavens felt still. You prayed, yet nothing changed immediately. You pressed your forehead into your hands, asking Him to give you a sign. But all you received was quiet. In those moments, your spirit was stretching. You were being called to grow. God was testing your ability to walk by faith and not by sight. If He answered instantly every time, your spirit would depend on comfort rather than courage. Divine silence also exposes what is hidden within you. When the noise stops and the world grows quiet, your fears rise to the surface. Your doubts become louder. Your unresolved wounds demand attention. During His silence, God brings these things out not to overwhelm you, but to heal you. He allows you to face what you have been avoiding so you can move into your breakthrough without carrying old burdens. Many of you experienced emotional heaviness during this silent season. That was not a sign of weakness. It was a sign of cleansing. God was emptying you so He could fill you again. There is another reason for His silence: protection. Sometimes God stops speaking because the enemy is watching closely. The enemy cannot discern your destiny unless it is spoken aloud, so God covers you with silence to shield His plans. When heaven grows quiet, it is often because something powerful is being prepared, something that cannot be revealed prematurely. God does not discuss your breakthrough in the presence of those who seek to sabotage it. His silence is your safeguard. Chosen one, think back. During your struggle, didn't you feel moments where you wanted to reach out to someone for answers, but the opportunity never came? Didn't you try to explain your situation to others, but the words didn't form? Didn't you feel isolated, almost as if God Himself was keeping people away from you? That isolation was part of His silence. He needed you to stop relying on human understanding so you could rely on divine discernment. During these quiet seasons, God teaches you how to listen differently. You begin noticing signs in your spirit rather than signs in your surroundings. You learn to distinguish between your fear and your intuition. Your inner strength grows because it has to. You begin to trust your divine instincts more than the opinions of others. God's silence pushes you to believe that even without proof, the promise still stands. That is the core of spiritual maturity. Let me speak to your heart now. The silence did not mean God was ignoring your prayers. He heard every word. He counted every tear. He watched every night you struggled to sleep. But He was strengthening you for what is coming. The breakthrough ahead of you requires someone who can stand firm, someone who does not crumble under pressure, someone who knows how to walk through storms with clarity and authority. That someone is you, and God's silence forged that strength within you. You may not have realized it at the time, but during His silence, you discovered parts of yourself you never knew existed. You found resilience in your spirit. You found endurance in your heart. You found a level of faith that only comes from walking through darkness with no visible guide. You became wiser, stronger, more grounded. That transformation was not accidental. It was intentional. Chosen one, if this resonates deeply with your spirit, comment 777 once more. Let it be a sign that you understand the purpose behind God's silence and that you are ready for the clarity He is about to release into your life. Remember this: God's silence is not the end of communication. It is the beginning of revelation. When He speaks again, and He will, Your ears will be ready, your heart will be prepared, and your spirit will be aligned. His silence was shaping you for the very breakthrough you are about to receive. The hidden attacks against chosen ones. Chosen one, now we must step into a deeper truth, one that many feel but few understand. When you carry a divine calling, you do not walk through life untouched. You are a target in the spiritual realm, not because you are weak, but because you are powerful. The enemy does not wage war against the ordinary. He wages war against those destined to shift atmospheres, break generational chains, and bring light into dark places. And so the attacks against you have never been random. They have been strategic. The first battlefield the enemy chooses is your mind. The mind of a chosen one is a sacred place because it holds vision, imagination, divine ideas, and spiritual instructions. So when the enemy cannot reach your destiny, he tries to interfere with your thoughts. Suddenly you experience intrusive doubts, confusion that feels unnatural, or waves of discouragement that appear out of nowhere. You begin questioning your worth, your purpose, your abilities, even your identity. You may feel your thoughts becoming heavier, or find yourself replaying old wounds that you believed were healed. This is not accidental. This is spiritual warfare aimed at weakening your inner clarity. The enemy also targets identity, because if he can make you forget who you are, he can influence what you choose. Chosen ones often grow up feeling different, misunderstood, or isolated. The enemy uses this to whisper lies, that you don't belong, that you're not enough, that you are unworthy of what God placed inside you. He tries to distort your self-perception so you step away from your calling. He knows you are anointed, but he hopes you never realize it. That is why your identity has been under attack for years, because heaven marked you long before earth recognized you. Your confidence is another target, and for good reason. The chosen move with authority when they know who they are. So the enemy sends subtle attacks disguised as failure, rejection, betrayal, or sudden setbacks. He wants your spirit to shrink. He wants you to hesitate before taking a step God instructed. He wants to drain your courage so you abandon the path that leads to your breakthrough. Every time you were on the verge of rising, something came to discourage you. Every time you felt momentum, something shook your faith. These were not coincidences. They were attempts to break your spiritual posture. But the most serious attacks are the ones aimed at your destiny. The enemy cannot steal what God has ordained, but he can attempt to delay it by exhausting you spiritually. Notice how your greatest battles often happen when you are close to something significant. When you are nearing transformation, warfare increases. When you are stepping into purpose, distractions multiply. When you are aligning with your calling, people around you begin behaving strangely. This is because the enemy senses breakthrough before you do. He attacks hardest when heaven is preparing to lift you higher. Think about your life. Look at the pattern. Right before a blessing came, wasn't there a sudden shift, a sudden tension, a sudden emotional storm? That turbulence was not random. It was spiritual resistance. The enemy sees the doors opening in the unseen realm and tries to block you with fear, confusion, or temptation. He hopes you will misinterpret the pressure and give up right at the edge of change. Many chosen ones lose strength in the final stretch because the intensity blinds them to how close they are. But chosen one, the warfare is a sign. The greater the attack, the closer the breakthrough. Now, how do you identify spiritual attacks clearly? It begins with awareness. When an attack comes, it rarely enters through physical circumstances first. It enters through atmosphere. You feel a shift within you. You sense heaviness for no reason. Your sleep becomes troubled. Your emotions feel unstable. Your spirit feels distracted. You may start reacting differently to small things, or you may feel spiritually distant even though you are seeking God with sincerity. These are early signals that the enemy is trying to gain access to your spirit. Another sign is sudden conflict in relationships that once felt peaceful. The enemy uses people as vessels when they are unaware of the spiritual realm. Not everyone around you knows how to guard their spirit. So the enemy whispers into vulnerable minds, stirring misunderstandings or provoking unnecessary tension. This is why chosen ones often experience betrayal or sudden shifts in friendships. The enemy wants to isolate you emotionally so he can affect your thinking. You may also notice patterns of delay. Opportunities come close but slip away. Plans move forward, then freeze. Doors that should be open seem strangely stuck. These are not always natural obstacles. Sometimes they are spiritual blockades meant to discourage you. But remember, what God has ordained cannot be stopped, only resisted temporarily. To shield yourself spiritually, you must first ground your mind. The mind is the gateway. You protect it by staying anchored in truth, not emotion. When negative thoughts arise, you do not entertain them. You challenge them. You speak against them. You remind yourself of who you are and whose you are. Chosen ones fight with clarity, not chaos. You must also protect your atmosphere. Guard what you watch, what you listen to, and who you allow into your space. Not everyone carries a clean spirit. Some people drain your energy without meaning to. Some conversations weaken your faith. Some environments disrupt your peace. The chosen must be selective, not out of arrogance, but out of spiritual responsibility. Your spirit is valuable. Treat it as such. Prayer and discernment are your armor. Prayer strengthens your connection to God. Discernment protects you from deception. When you cultivate these two, the enemy loses access. He can try to attack, but he cannot penetrate. Even when warfare rises, you remain grounded because your foundation is rooted in divine understanding. Chosen one, let us place this struggle in biblical and prophetic context. Every person chosen by God faced hidden attacks before elevation. Joseph was betrayed before being exalted. David was hunted before becoming king. Moses fled into the wilderness before leading his people. Jesus himself was tempted in the desert before beginning his ministry. In every story, the attack preceded the breakthrough. The pressure came before the purpose unfolded. The enemy fought hardest when destiny was near. And it is the same for you. This is not new. This is divine pattern. The warfare you endured was confirmation of your calling. The intensity was proof of your importance in the spiritual realm. The attacks on your mind, identity, confidence, and path were meant to weaken you, but instead they awakened you. You have survived battles meant to break you. You have risen from situations that were designed to silence you. You are still here, which means the enemy failed. Chosen one, understand this clearly. The hidden attacks against you reveal the greatness within you, and the fact that you recognize this battle now means your breakthrough is closer than ever. The attacks did not stop you. They prepared you. And soon, the very areas the enemy tried to destroy will become the areas God uses to elevate you. Signs your breakthrough is near. Chosen one, now we must speak about the signs that God places in your path when your breakthrough is approaching. These signs are not dramatic or loud. They are spiritual indicators that whisper to your soul before anything manifests in your physical reality. Many of you have already experienced these signs but did not understand what they meant. Let me guide you so you can see clearly. What feels like disruption is really preparation. What feels like loss is actually positioning. And what feels like confusion is the unfolding of divine order. One of the most powerful signs that your breakthrough is near is sudden isolation. This isolation is not loneliness created by your own choices. It is a spiritual separation orchestrated by heaven. You may find yourself withdrawing from people you once felt comfortable with. You may feel a distance forming between you and certain friendships or environments. Not because bitterness is present, but because your spirit no longer aligns with their energy. When God begins elevating a chosen one, he pulls them away from noise, clutter, and distractions. Isolation becomes a sacred cocoon where transformation takes place. You begin to prefer silence over conversation, depth over surface-level interactions, solitude over company. This isolation is not punishment. It is preparation. God isolates you not to deprive you, but to refine you. When you feel alone, it is because heaven is working privately on your behalf. Another sign is internal shifting. You may sense sudden changes within yourself that you cannot explain. Your desires change. Your tolerance for certain behaviors disappears. Your spirit becomes restless in places where you were once comfortable. Old habits begin to feel heavy. Old ways of thinking no longer fit. This inner movement is God repositioning your spirit before repositioning your life. You feel it before you see it. You sense the shift before the transition arrives. This internal shifting can feel uncomfortable because you are being stretched. But discomfort is simply evidence that growth is taking place. Something new is forming inside you, and your spirit is preparing for higher ground. Unexpected loss is another major indicator that breakthrough is near. This loss may come through relationships, jobs, opportunities, or material things that once felt secure. When you lose something suddenly, it may feel unfair or confusing, but chosen one, hear me. God removes what cannot follow you into the next season. Not everything lost is a loss. Some losses are actually divine surgery, cutting away what no longer aligns with your purpose. If God allowed something to fall away, it is because he knew it would weigh you down where he is taking you. This loss creates space. Breakthrough requires room, and sometimes God must clear out the familiar to make space for the extraordinary. The emptiness you feel is not abandonment, it is preparation for abundance. Divine redirection is another sign, and it usually appears in subtle but persistent ways. A door you were trying to enter suddenly closes. A plan you believed would work begins to fall apart. A path you were confident in becomes blocked. You may feel frustrated or uncertain, but understand this. Rejection is often divine protection. God redirects you when your plans are too small for his purpose. He closes doors that lead to stagnation. He shifts your steps so you won't settle for less than what he has ordained. Many chosen ones misunderstand divine redirection because it does not come with an explanation. But trust the process. God sees what you cannot. He knows what is waiting around the corner. Every closed door is a guiding hand, steering you into alignment with your destiny. Emotional purging is one of the most intense signs that a breakthrough is close. You may find yourself crying unexpectedly or feeling old wounds resurfacing. You may feel overwhelmed by emotions that seem out of place. This is not instability. This is cleansing. Before elevation, God empties your spirit of everything that would contaminate your new season. The tears you shed are watering the soil of your next chapter. Emotional purging is the release of fear, anger, self-doubt, and old attachments. It is the breaking of chains that have held you down for years. You cannot rise while holding onto emotional weight that burdens your spirit. So God brings it to the surface so you can finally let it go. Every emotion you release is making room for peace, clarity, and renewal. One of the most powerful indicators of breakthrough is heightened intuition. You begin to sense things before they happen. You feel warnings in your spirit. You feel nudges towards certain decisions and away from others. Your inner voice grows louder and clearer. You recognize spiritual signs more easily. You feel guided, even if you cannot explain how. This heightened intuition is not random. It is divine preparation. God sharpens your discernment before he elevates you because the next season requires wisdom. When your intuition becomes stronger, it is because God is aligning your spirit with the vibrations of your breakthrough. You are tuning into a frequency that not everyone can hear. Pay attention to your intuition during this time. It is God speaking to you through inner knowing. Now understand this deeply. None of these signs are punishments. They are precursors to elevation. God does not pull you away from people to hurt you. He separates you to protect your spirit. God does not shift your inner world to confuse you. He shifts you so you can align with your higher calling. God does not allow loss to break you. He allows loss to free you. God does not bring emotional purging to destabilize you. He brings it to purify you. Every sign, every shift, every tear, every disruption is divine preparation for what is coming. Chosen one, trust the process. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. You are not losing. You are being positioned. You are not abandoned. You are being guided. The path may feel strange, but your spirit recognizes this as transformation. Breakthrough always begins in the unseen realm. Your life is shifting spiritually long before it shifts physically. Once the inner work is complete, the outer manifestations follow swiftly. You are in a divinely crafted transition. Heaven is preparing you for something your spirit has sensed, but your eyes have not yet seen. Trust that every sign is leading you closer to the moment God has ordained for you. Breakthrough is not coming someday. It is forming right now. You are walking toward it step by step, as the universe rearranges itself to align with the promise God spoke over your life. Chosen one, this season is not ending in sorrow. It is leading you into elevation. Keep your spirit open. Pay attention to the signs. Your breakthrough is near and nothing can stop what God has set in motion for you. What God needs you to do before the breakthrough arrives. Chosen one, listen closely now, because what I am about to share with you is not just guidance, it is instruction. Before your breakthrough arrives, God requires certain alignments in your spirit, your habits, your mindset, and your purpose. Breakthrough is not only a blessing, it is a responsibility. And God will never place a chosen one into a higher realm until their spirit is ready to sustain what they have prayed for. Elevation requires foundation, blessings require readiness, and destiny requires obedience. The first thing God needs you to do is stay grounded. Not grounded in your emotions, not grounded in your fears, not grounded in the chaos of the world, but grounded in truth, in faith, and in divine identity. You must anchor yourself so deeply in God that no storm can uproot you. When you are grounded, the enemy's whispers lose their power. People's opinions flow past you like wind. You are no longer swayed by external circumstances because your foundation is spiritual, not circumstantial. Staying grounded means waking up each day with intention, keeping your mind steady, and refusing to be shaken by illusions designed to distract you. God needs your stability before He grants your elevation. Another essential step is releasing old identities. Many of you are still holding on to versions of yourself that God has already outgrown. You cannot carry old fear into a new destiny. You cannot carry old shame into divine purpose. You cannot walk into breakthrough dressed in an identity that was built in struggle. God is calling you to shed the outdated labels that life placed on you. Labels that came from trauma, rejection, or misunderstanding. Before breakthrough, chosen ones must allow themselves to transform. You must release who you were so you can become who God is calling you to be. The habits, mindsets, and emotional reflexes that served you in your survival season cannot follow you into your breakthrough season. God needs you to empty yourself of limitations so He can fill you with purpose. Now hear this with your whole spirit. You must obey divine nudges. Many chosen ones delay their own blessings because they hesitate when God speaks. Obedience is the doorway to breakthrough. When God tells you to step forward, move. When God tells you to let something go, release it. When He places someone on your heart to forgive, forgive. When He gives you an idea, act on it. When He warns you about a person, listen. God's instructions are often quiet, subtle, and easily missed by a distracted mind. But for those who are spiritually attentive, His nudges become the compass that leads them into destiny. You must trust these nudges even when they do not make sense logically. Breakthrough often begins with a step that feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. But obedience unlocks what prayer alone cannot. Chosen one, Maintaining purity of intention is also essential. God examines the heart before he releases elevation. He does not bless manipulation, ego, or hidden motives. He blesses purity, humility, and righteousness. You must ask yourself, why do I want this breakthrough? Is it to shine for yourself or to fulfill God's purpose? Is it to prove others wrong or to step into your divine path? Pure intentions create clean pathways. When your motives align with God's will, obstacles dissolve, doors open naturally, and breakthroughs flow with ease. Purity of intention is spiritual alignment, and alignment is what brings manifestation. Before breakthrough, God also needs you to cultivate stillness. Many chosen ones are overwhelmed not because their battles are too heavy, but because their minds are too loud. You must create space for God to speak. Stillness allows clarity to rise. Stillness brings inner healing. Stillness sharpens intuition. In the stillness, God reveals strategy, wisdom, and timing. Without stillness, you may mistake emotions for instructions or impatience for inspiration. Quiet your spirit so you can hear the divine frequency of your next step. Another requirement is releasing attachments that drain your spirit. God will not elevate you while you are connected to people, environments, or habits that weaken your spiritual energy. Breakthrough demands boundaries. You must discern who is for your growth and who is for your stagnation. Not everyone can walk with you into your blessing. Some people are part of your history but not your destiny. Before breakthrough, God will highlight these connections. Some will fall away naturally. Others will require you to make a difficult decision. But understand this: separation is a form of preparation. God will never ask you to release something without preparing something better. Chosen one, you must also heal. Emotional wounds that are ignored become spiritual blockages. God does not want you entering a new season carrying yesterday's pain. He needs your heart clean, your spirit light, and your mind free. The healing process is not always beautiful. Sometimes it requires confronting truths you once avoided, forgiving people who never apologized, or accepting situations that will never change. But healing is liberation. Before elevation, God opens old wounds not to hurt you again, but to remove what is still poisoning you. Next, God requires discipline. Breakthrough is not sustained by inspiration alone. It is sustained by consistency. You must develop discipline in prayer, discipline in thought, discipline in your routines, discipline in your spiritual practices. You cannot rise spiritually while living without structure. Discipline is what allows you to maintain what God gives you. Blessings without discipline lead to cycles of gain and loss. But blessings combined with discipline lead to legacy. Chosen one, let me speak to your spirit with the firmness of an elder. You must stop shrinking. Stop doubting your anointing. Stop questioning your worth. Stop playing small because it makes others comfortable. God cannot elevate a spirit that refuses to accept its own greatness. Before breakthrough arrives, you must learn to walk boldly in who you are. You must claim the authority that you were born with. You must embrace your identity as a chosen one. Humility is holy, but self-neglect is not. You are stepping into a season that requires courage, confidence, and spiritual maturity. Let me teach you now how to posture yourself for breakthrough. Stand spiritually tall. This means aligning your mind, heart, and actions with the path God has set before you. Speak with authority, because your words carry power. Think with clarity, because confusion is a tool of spiritual warfare. Walk with purpose, because wanderers rarely reach destiny. Keep your heart open, your spirit clean, and your mind focused on God's voice. When you posture yourself correctly, breakthrough cannot miss you. It gravitates toward you. Chosen one, your breakthrough is not waiting for time. It is waiting for readiness. And God is preparing you because He knows the magnitude of what is coming. Elevation requires a purified spirit, an obedient heart, and a grounded soul. You are being shaped, molded and strengthened for something greater than you have ever experienced. Do not resist this preparation. Embrace it. It is the pathway to the life heaven has written for you. Your breakthrough will not arrive until your posture matches your purpose. But now that you understand what God needs from you, you are closer than ever to stepping into the destiny that has been calling your name. The breakthrough. What awaits you after this silent battle? Chosen one, now we arrive at the moment your spirit has been longing for. After the silent battle, after the isolation, after the inner warfare, after the refining, something begins to shift in the unseen realm. The atmosphere around you changes. The weight you once carried begins to lift. The confusion that clouded your path begins to dissolve. What awaits you after this silent battle is not simply relief. It is transformation. A transformation so deep, so sacred, that you will look back and barely recognize the version of yourself that entered this season of struggle. God is preparing something meaningful, something aligned with your purpose, something that reflects the strength you developed in the darkness. One of the first transformations you will experience is spiritual elevation. Your spiritual senses will heighten. Your discernment will sharpen. Your intuition will become clearer and more reliable. You will begin to feel connected to God in a deeper, more grounded way. The silence that once frightened you will now empower you because you will understand that silence is not emptiness. It is intimacy. Your prayer life will shift from desperation to communion. You will begin to feel God's presence not only in moments of pain, but in moments of peace. Elevation means you rise internally before anything rises externally. It means your spirit becomes stronger than your circumstances. It means you walk into every situation with the awareness that you are guided, protected, and divinely supported. Following spiritual elevation comes restored clarity. You will begin to see your life, your journey, and your purpose with a fresh perspective. What once felt confusing will suddenly make sense. The experiences that wounded you will reveal their lessons. The moments you questioned will begin to align with a bigger picture. You will no longer feel lost or uncertain because the fog that covered your path will lift. God will shine a light on the areas you need to focus on. You will receive insights, understanding, and direction in ways that feel supernatural. Thoughts will become clearer. Decisions will become easier. You will know what to walk toward and what to walk away from. Clarity is one of God's greatest gifts after a season of silence because it positions you for movement. Another transformation awaiting you is alignment with your life purpose. For many chosen ones, the silent battle served as a spiritual reset. It stripped away distractions, false identities, unhealthy attachments, and the noise of the world so you could hear your true calling. After this battle, you will feel drawn toward things that reflect your divine purpose. You may find yourself stepping into creative gifts, spiritual gifts, leadership roles, or callings you once ignored. Opportunities will appear that match the anointing you carry. Ideas will flow through you that feel inspired rather than forced. Purpose will begin to guide your choices. You will feel a deep inner knowing, a sense of being exactly where you are meant to be. This alignment is not accidental. It is the fruit of everything you endured. With alignment also comes increased divine protection. You will notice that things that used to shake you no longer have the same power. Attacks that once overwhelmed you will now feel like minor obstacles. Your spirit will be guarded by a new level of divine covering. This protection does not mean challenges will disappear, but it means challenges will not break you. It means you will walk with spiritual authority. It means God will shield you from situations and people that are not meant for your next season. You will feel safeguarded, watched over, and strengthened. The enemy may attempt to attack again, but he will fail faster because your spiritual armor has been fortified. God protects those he elevates, and your breakthrough comes with a new dimension of heavenly defense. Another manifestation of your breakthrough will be new opportunities. These opportunities may come through connections, ideas, open doors, resources, or moments of divine timing. They may appear unexpectedly, but they will feel aligned. You will attract opportunities that fit your purpose, your calling, and your new level of spiritual maturity. Some opportunities will require boldness, others will require patience, but each one will carry the fingerprints of God. They will not feel forced or chaotic. They will flow. They will feel natural. They will feel like they were prepared specifically for you. This is because God positions His chosen ones for impact, and after the silent battle, He prepares the stage for your next chapter. Chosen one, let me speak prophetically yet responsibly to your spirit. I cannot guarantee specific blessings, timelines, or outcomes, but I can tell you with certainty that when God refines someone through silence, isolation, inner warfare, and deep transformation, He is preparing them for something meaningful. Your breakthrough will not look like everyone else's. It will unfold in the way that fits your soul, your purpose, and your destiny. For some, breakthrough will be emotional healing. For others, it will be clarity of mind. For others, it will be restored relationships, new opportunities, or spiritual gifts awakening. What God has for you is unique. It is tailored. It is precise. It is intentional. I want you to visualize the shift God is preparing for you. Imagine the heaviness lifting from your spirit. Imagine waking up with peace instead of anxiety. Imagine feeling guided instead of confused. Imagine walking into your day with confidence instead of doubt. Imagine speaking with authority, making decisions with clarity, and moving through life with purpose. Imagine no longer being pulled by fear, but being carried by faith. This is the inner transformation that precedes the outer one. Now imagine the external shift. Imagine new connections arriving at the right time. Imagine doors opening that once felt locked. Imagine opportunities aligning without your effort, simply because you are aligned within. Imagine blessings coming in ways that surprise you. Imagine what once felt impossible beginning to form. Visualize yourself stepping into a chapter where peace surrounds you, where purpose energizes you, where clarity guides you, and where God's presence feels ever near. The breakthrough awaiting you is not a single moment. It is a season. A season where everything begins to make sense. A season where the lessons of your silent battle become tools of wisdom. A season where the wounds that once hurt you become testimonies of strength. A season where you rise not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to become. Chosen one, this is the transformation ahead of you. Spiritual elevation, restored clarity, renewed identity, divine alignment, heightened protection, and opportunities shaped by God's own hand. Your silent battle was not a delay. It was preparation. And what awaits you is the manifestation of everything that battle shaped you to receive. You are stepping into a chapter where the light returns, where purpose unfolds, and where God reveals why He chose you in the first place. The breakthrough is not just coming, it is forming. And soon your life will reflect the beauty of everything God has been crafting behind the scenes. Conclusion. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this message, I want you to hold one truth firmly in your spirit. This silent battle you have been walking through is not your ending. It is the doorway to the breakthrough God has prepared specifically for you. What you felt as pressure was really preparation. What seemed like isolation was divine protection. What looked like loss was spiritual alignment. You were not being broken. You were being shaped. Everything you endured in silence was the groundwork for the elevation that is now drawing near. You have walked through a season that many would not have survived, yet here you are, stronger, wiser, sharper in spirit. You are no longer who you were when this battle began, and that transformation is the clearest sign that God has been with you every step of the way. Your breakthrough is not something distant. It is already unfolding in the unseen. Heaven has been preparing your path long before you could see the signs. Trust what you feel rising within you. Trust the clarity forming in your heart. Trust the God who has carried you through the darkness into the threshold of a new beginning. Chosen one, before you leave, share your reflections in the comments. speak from your spirit. Let your words be a declaration of faith and alignment. And if this message has nourished your soul, remember to subscribe to Divine Calling, share this video, and stay connected for the revelations God releases here. What is coming next in your journey is too important to walk into unprepared. Now receive this closing blessing. May your spirit rise into divine clarity. May your steps align with destiny. May your heart open to the breakthrough God has already written for you. Walk boldly, chosen one. Your new season is here.